Guys, we have part three, possibly the last part of DPP Cup 3 finals between the two other round robins participants. Both of these guys have faced Laurel. Jimmy T lost to him. Boyd beat him. So if Boyd wins, then he wins DPP Cup, and if he wins, then it's a reset. So Jimmy's got the lead matchup. He's Hippo facing Bernay. Hippo dumps on Bernay. In the lead position at least, because it's at full health. So 1v1, that is overwhelming win for him, and Abe is not going to be the sad box that has not been around for a long, long time, outside of like 3 instances. And so he's going to get up rocks, and he is going to be Swampert, so that's rocks too. Here comes Breloom. I guess for Jimmy's team would be Hippo, Loom, Skarm, Starmie, Zapdos, T-Tar, a team I have messed around with a lot. Don't really know of many other Hippo Breloom teams, and it's just a pretty logical one. Void is using, I think he's using the same team of mine that he's been using throughout the tournament, and he used it against Laurel, so T-Tar, Rotom, Lucario as his lasts. Roserade eats the sleep, but if he's not Poison Point, then that will not have accomplished much. So, he has really evolved, taken over the DPP metagame. So, at this point, then he's going to either burn a turn of sleep with Poison Point, which is reasonable, I guess. He can, but he's not really. But Breloom is just going to be coasting, doing damage. I think it's reasonable we see him throw out a superpower or a focus punch, as we are assuming Mach Seed for the other two. Maybe Jimmy doesn't want to gamble on. No, it's Natural Cure. He was just trying to bait an attack, and he eats a superpower, so that was nicely done. Even though he hasn't actually damaged the Breloom, and we do see leftovers on the Rotom, so I am expecting it to be Wisp HPA split, which is an awesome set. So Lefty's Rotom means Breloom has nothing to fear, so he can just go ahead and Spore if he wants. But he's not going to mess around with that. He's going to Tar. He's going to Sub. I have not used that set. Maybe I used Sub Split WoW once. Maybe, which is an awesome set. So he can burn T-Tar and then leave. And Unscathed, no, he's just going to split up. That's cool. I mean, obviously, I just don't expect it there, because Rotom's kind of needed defensively, so I like Wisp just to stave this big bitch off. But Substitute Rotom is excellent with hazards down. So hopefully for Void, now that he's got the initial hiccup of Breloom coming in for free on rocks out of the way, then he can get that behind him. Oh, he's not using that. Oh, I think he's using an Ojama team. Yeah, okay, I know this. The ape did, okay, so if the ape did 16 to Hippo with U-turn, so, yeah, so so that should be Scarf against Special Defense Hippo. Adamant Scarf, which Ojama does run on this team. This is a Torment Tran, if I remember correctly, and the Rotom is Subcharge Shadow Ball. There's Protect. There's Psychic, aiming for Roserade, and the last on this team is Scarf Flygon. So, yeah, I mean, it is a good team. Ofuga used this against me in Smoking Tour playoffs, and it's a solid team. Its only real issues are Clefable with its regular supporting cast, which would wear away at it pretty uncomfortably. You'd have to get hazards going and get Subsplit Rotom going in order to wear away at the teammates and then fuck with Clef. And preserve as much health on Infernape as possible. Roar on Pert helps with that. You just have to really be aggressive in getting all those hazards down. But anyway. So, it does not love facing Psychic Starmie. Generally, it does fine if it comes in on Pert, because Swampert dumps on Bulky Starmie pretty nicely. in sand at least. But when it's staring down Heatran, he's got free Surf Psychic combo to go for against whatever switch in. I mean, there's no downside to Hydroing, because Roserade just gets in on Psychic, and Roserade just gets Psychic. Doesn't depending on his bulk, I would assume he's not killing back. Well, no. After Rocks, he'll definitely die to Sand. Remember that now. So he's going to go to Pert and eat Psychic, which is better than Hydro. No drop. So, at the same time, this is kind of shaky. But if Jimmy's got a... I don't think he should mess around with Starmie's health if he can help it, but he's got so much pressure with Breloom that I think... I said earlier he has nothing to fear, so Spore, but Seed Bomb was fine too, in case of sub. But then again, if he does eat HP Ice, then it's kind of like, I could have gotten a lot more out of this. So he made the right move by switching to Tyranitar 100%. So good thinking by Jimmy there. So Starmie will not 2 KO with Hydro, but it is a solid 3 KO from here, I would believe. Actually, I think it's Rolly. I don't know why the calc has random, I guess it could be Surf, but that's the same calc as, Psychic pretty much, so, yeah. I just think that he can just go to Skarm or Breloom, and he'll be just fine, rather than messing around with Starmie's health, because he doesn't need Pert to, similarly to the game with Laurel against Void, where Laurel taunted the full health Swampert with his 93 or whatever the score, when he did not care about rocks, and in fact had opportunities to spike. It's not quite the same because Jimmy, I am assuming, does have Zapdos last if it's my team. And, that doesn't appreciate rocks, but Zapdos is not really needed so much in this matchup defensively, or rather, it's not needed so much that, I mean, he could live without it, but he'd prefer to have it, obviously, but it's not needed so much that he absolutely needs Stealth Rock gone in order for it to check the threats. So, he is going to go for Rapid Spin Recover, which can be a nasty cycle. Oh, he just wants Breloom in safely rather than a potential roaring Zapdos around into rocks, which could be bad. So, nice move there. I think he could have gone Breloom pretty safely because roaring against Starmie as it spins and bringing Breloom in would have just been nightmarish. So I don't think that was the best move from Jimmy, but I mean, it could be a lot worse, especially because Rocks just went right back up. But, so we'll have to... But with Spadef Hippo, then he can handle Heatran pretty well, even without Starmie, so not the end of the world. We're in the same position we were a few turns ago. I think Tyranitar might be the best switch, actually, because it can pursue a Sleeping Roserade, no problem. And if Rotom comes in for more of that nonsense, then, there goes that. And Heatran pivoting into Seed Bomb, as ridiculous as that would be, it doesn't like facing T-Tar either. And Infernape's not coming in. And that last, the Scarf Gone, not really a candidate to be revealed yet either, so don't know if Jimmy knows there's a Gone. Let's assume he doesn't. But, I mean, there's nothing really wrong with Superpower either, because now that Rotom has revealed itself... Oh my god, did he predict the double thing? No, he didn't. Well, Pert eats a Superpower, so fair. But Superpower was fine there, because even if Rotom does come in on Superpower, then, he's shown himself to be sub-split even. And, while T-Bolt HPI sub-split isn't a bad set, I don't think that really exists to anyone else. Not that I've seen, anyway. But, so he could stay in safely and just Shadow Ball away for free. So, unless he was really afraid of letting Heatran in, but Nah, he'd be fine there. Hell, he could go to T-Tar, which is against Rotom and Heatran, if he wanted to be super safe and not risk any damage on Breloom or any mispredictions. So here comes Rose on Seed Bomb. I'm not sure why he didn't Spore. I'm gonna try to cut down on my comments. Sorry, I've become conscious of how much I say it lately. But HP Fire won't kill, and he's going to have plenty of opportunities to regain health. Not to mention, he's got so many other ways of dealing with Void's team defensively. So it's not like Breloom's help is really needed. He could go to Tyranitar, which is fine with spikes and HP Fire. Sorry, it was blanking. Or he can go to Scarm and start going on the offensive. It is a double spiking Roserade, but which is nice because now he's really going to lay those hazards down on Jim, which is going to cripple Starmie and annoy Hippo. I mean, we can just assume Starmie's out of the picture now. And Tyranitar doesn't appreciate it either. So, however, with Spikes digging into Tran, I think, he Brave Bird's trying to catch Ape. I guess that's fair. I think Jim's going to get a lot of opportunities to heal, to get Scarman for Whirlwind Fun. But Hippo does not mind Tran with only regular poison and can roar it out. So I would switch to that. As you can see from this calc, if I can ever find it. Why is that 36 special attack? That's nonsense. Yeah, Lava Plume's doing approximately Jag 0, so. And with Poison, he doesn't have to worry about Burn. I mean, it'll be annoying, but he can phase out or Earthquake, so no matter what, he'll be fucking with something. Yeah, Hippo, you don't really see Hippo as much these days because of the surge in Breloom and how nasty it is. So he's going to straight up Lava Plume, no subbing. And now I assume we're going to see a sub from Void as Jimmy T is forced to slack off. So now he's going to straight up Earthquake. Nice move from Jimmy reading that. Really, really nice. He's still not forced to, because, yeah, he's still not forced to slack. That was excellent, actually. Not many players would have considered that. I think now you slack just to be safe, because even if he, no matter what he does with Heatran, then slacking here is fine. And you already stole a good 19% from him. Sub up, minus lefties. So, or plus lefties. So, this is an interesting battle, because those hazards are really, really raining down on him. And, but Scarm is also a problem. Now he slacks off. I think Protect was easily the worst there. Either you Lava again, or no. I mean, you don't even Lava again. That's just wasteful. You sub, if anything. But I guess he's just trying to really be. It was fine actually, because that's just a safe way to get keep Heatran's health up against those spikes. So Rotom's gonna come in, and Hippo is actually going to be a pain in the ass with regular poison. I think maybe he should have gone for the 2 layers of T-spikes, considering how much his strategy relies around subbing up on shit like this. Then, I mean, the extra spike will be good for Breloom, but Hippo sits on this shit all day. Now he gets a pain split, of course, so I think one more slack off on the split, and then Whirlwind. Actually, I think it doesn't really matter because he heals on legit the entire team. Well, not Rose, right? So, as you can see, the lack of the focus on hazards is obviously a very strong strategy. But when you lack something to really lock it down, like some real power in there, like phasing at least, which Swampert has, admittedly. So I think he's just waiting to get purred in, but you can't let hazards do all the work, because then something like Clef or a Hippo that just like sits itself in front of you like this can just be a real pain to take out if you're relying on hazards to do all the work for you, because as you can see. Like it's obviously a very good strategy against some frailer teams, but in teams with longevity. And then once they get in, and you can't chase them out, because look at Void's team; it's not actually that strong. So teams like those, the Blissey, Nito, Scarm, Jirachi, something like that, then it's got Scarm to just keep phasing, and Tyranitar and Jirachi to cover the special blob, Clefable, that's going to try and plop itself in. And for the physical stuff, then I mean, Clef just goes to town on it. Scarm does too. So, whereas this team, this Ojama team, it's obviously good, but like sometimes it can. He goes to Tar, and I don't know if I agree with that at all. That was definitely a bad move from Jimmy. There was no reason to not just roar him out and roar, not whirlwind. It doesn't get whirlwind until Black and White 2. But yeah, that was. I don't understand that. I know it's not Ice Fang because Ice Fang sucks. It's not bad. It's just whenever you use Hippo without phase, then it becomes setup fodder for scary stuff. Whereas if your Gyara doesn't have taunt, like your Kingdra and your everything imaginable, hell, sub Rotom, as you can see. I was going to say Gengar with sub WoW, but this is even better. Yeah, so now Tar goes down for nothing. I mean, it's not like it had a ton of value, but it would have been better. He could have gotten way better use out of it than using it to kill Rotom. That was not good. So, not a fan of that at all. Anyway, what I was saying was, as you can see, Ojama's team is kind of more on the offensive side rather than really dedicated to the defense and locking down of things. Like as the Nito, Scarm, Clef, mainly Clef, Scarm, and T-Tar stuff would be, or Blissey over Clef. But so that's why it sort of struggles for a situation like this where the wall just says, well, pure AM, can you kill it? And Charge Beam is not that powerful, but it does the job with poison. No boost though, although with Starmie being faster, 45 minus 25 if I'm remembering right, 43. So he's going to be at 18. And Psychic will pretty much, well, won't kill. No, yeah, Psychic pretty much kills something, unless he goes to Flygon, which I think he should do, should Starmie be the one to come in, and I'm almost certain it will be the one to come in. Because that's the only Pokemon faster than Rotom he has left. It's either go to, I think Flygon, because there's no way Jimmy can afford to spin on Rotom. Okay, I guess Breloom's gonna eat a nasty payslip, but at least he gets the Spore off, and that he gets some health back because he's gonna Spore here. And why? Oh, I guess he preferred to just kill it. Well, I mean, that's fine too. I just think, alright, that works, I suppose. Anyway, Ape's coming in. Hazards are gonna make him kind of a bitch, but Jimmy's last, the Zapdos, once that gets settled in, then that's also going to be a bitch to take down because it's an offensive team that likes its hazards, but it versus these walls, then if the pressure isn't kept on, with the phasing and just general good switches, then the walls can get kind of, once they roost up to full health, like Zap, then it's kind of like, well, I can wail on it, but it's not going to be reliable. So, as opposed to the more dedicated teams, like with their defense, like they shut it down, they take advantage of it. Rather than, I'm not saying offensive teams with hazards are bad or that this team is bad. I think they're both very, very good. It's just sometimes when the hazards do too much of the damage for you, then you can find yourself in sticky situations like these. So, I suppose it's just Pert getting worn down, because if Pert actually roars around with some hazards, then it can actually be very annoying to stall teams. But I might if I were to use this team, I'd probably make a moveset change or two. Probably like Specs Rotom, I think. I think that'd be good. And I think the double Scarfer, I know Ojama only made it for one game, and it was against TV Raka, so it may have been preference call for that particular battle, but I think in general, Specs Rotom and maybe like a mixed Flygon. And not that mixed Flygon, or like not that mixed Flygon is like, all right, well, you've got to insert, that wall like Hippo. Well, here I come, I'm going to scare the shit out of it. But Specs Rotom certainly does that, and it makes more pressure with being harder to pursue by a mile, and anything really fat you just trick. So it chases things out with no problem, which makes for easy double switches. And Mixed Flygon just busts these teams up with hazards really hard, so it can force them into a defensive position from which you can capitalize on and continue to put offensive pressure. Like, for example, if they're dancing around your Draco Fire EQ combo, and you have Roost, which is amazing, because sometimes in the Roserade teams like this, then, I mean, they're great and all, but sometimes, as you may have noticed from this series and the last series, that if you are not aggressive enough, then you can find yourself feeling kind of overwhelmed and blaming the team or the gen. But Mixgon gives you a threat with longevity, so that's just personally what I would do. And probably not Torment Train. I think Torment Train is great. I don't know. I've had trouble making it work. Sometimes I feel like if you're using Torment Train, you're kind of there's never going to be a super optimal place for it. I feel like. Well, there are a couple of places. I don't know. I'm rambling. I just feel like this team is too offensive for Torment Train. I would appreciate something else, but not that it's bad or anything. Just, I don't know. Maybe whatever offensive set. So Loom's coming out. Starmie's gonna get sacked. Here comes the U-turn, I assume. No, he's just gonna Flare Blitz away. Well, here comes Zapdos, and it's gonna Roost. And this is the next challenge of walls that's gonna be tough for Void to beat. It is anyone's game though, because this is a bold Zapdos. Yeah, Zapdos is gaining health on this, so an ape is getting worn down nastily. Now, the power is enticing, but I like to run Blaze Kick on my purely physical apes, and mainly because I believe when you use Flare Blitz for its power, there are better ways to make use of it, I think. He's in Blaze now, which is admittedly going to be a bitch, but Zapdos can still take it. God, what a monster Zapdos is. He's a cool 77%, which is more than enough for Scarf Gone. He roosts everywhere else, and while Heatran will be annoying, with some discharge luck, he might be alright. Of course, Torment can lock him out of discharge and potentially give free subs. Well, no, discharge keeps him out of sub range for a few turns, but it's going to be mainly the discharge on Protect because Heat Wave HPAs do nothing. That said, if he manages to wear the Heatran down, then Skarmory just goes crazy against those last three with the Scarf Gone last. So, but yeah, I was saying that when you've got he changed it to Thunderbolt. Maybe I used Thunderbolt. I don't remember. But Thunderbolt is a good call too. And we don't see a Torment. We just see Lava Flume, which I think may have been a poor play. Because like even if you burn it, like I think with Heatran in this position, you have to just kind of because he can't T-Bolt the next turn if you Torment. So you get the same exact thing, but you gain lefties out of it, and then you can play with them the turn after. So I'm pretty sure Outrage is a roll to kill. I know Ojama runs Adamant Scarf Flygon because he's a smart man. Yeah, so that's Adamant. Stone Edge will KO, but he gets the Outrage roll, but Scarm's going to heal up, and now I think Jimmy's going to take this game 1. So, yeah, this is an interesting battle. I think Jimmy's team matched up pretty well, and while there were some questionable moves by him, there were also some very good ones. And the teams really showed why I think this was an accurate representation of the advantages displayed in this matchup. So as you can see, like the hazards were just they were a lot, and it's mainly the hazards and Breland. That's a tough combo. Breland usually isn't seen with spikes, and while it didn't really help wear down the raid here, it's just I mean, you can still win with a HP fire crit. Actually, that's amusing. Well, not anymore, I don't think. But there he could have. But yeah, yeah, I guess what I'm saying is that too much of the pressure coming from hazards meant that um, once Jim could put Void in some pretty uncomfortable situations easily, and I don't know if Void played aggressively enough to overcome the weaknesses, the deficit that his team was put in because of how it attempts to deal with um, opposing teams, that coming mostly from hazards. And so when you face a sturdier team that can hold its own for a while and heal up, then I mean, if you face an offensive team like this, you get down T-Spikes, you send Tormentran, and not to mention you have two great Scarfers to clean up, and another Sub-Abuser, which is just so dangerous, and Pert, who just roars the shit out of everything after it tanks it, or even more nastiness, then yeah, it's going to be nasty, but for something like this, then, I don't know. I guess it is Scarf Fire Punch. I did not remember that being run, but, I wonder if he's going to have to PP stall it. No, he is Ice Fang after all, which I think is way inferior, but, well, I think he would have been in a better position if he was roaring around earlier against the Rotom, so. But, semantics, so. Interesting game one, so let's move on to game two. Alright, interesting lead matchup here. We've got Machamp against Jirachi, two Pokemon known for their hacks. There's Iron Head, there's a flinch, as the Machamp attempted to go for Dynamic Punch. So I think we already know a little bit. Jirachi can be a million things. Can be Choice Scarf, can be Sub-Para, can be Stealth Rock Akka, which is the most common set by far these days. And realistically, that's it. I mean, I could name a bunch of other shit that I've seen and used, but let's not. Four attacks is cool, but that would have Life Orb. That used to be a thing with Psychic, Iron Head. Like basically, it's the Akka set, but with four attacks and Iron Head being the fourth attack over Stealth Rock. But I much prefer Rocks there. Anyway, so Heatran, Machamp's trusted partner, coming right in. He is going to scare the Jirachi out, assuming it is Sub-Para Slam. It could be Iron Head HP Ground with Akka, which has some coverage issues, but when it works, it's pretty nasty. Because it just dismantles Tyranitar and Heatran together, and those are some big deals. You know, you pick your appropriate water coverage move, and you're in business. Have ways to deal with Zapdos, though, of course. So, Tran coming in. The classic pairing with Lum Machamp is Shuka Heatran, because Lum Metagross was one of the few leads that defeated Machamp back in the day. And Heatran with Shuka comes in and beats that. And plus, Machamp had a tendency to lure in waters that Heatran did not mind having weakened for it. So, like, how many times have you seen Perp staying in on Machamp trying to get a Brox while Machamp just D-punches the shit out of it? Anyway, rocks go up. Jimmy's not playing any of that. And Machamp comes in and eats a superpower. So Machamp straight up dies. So depending on how much bulk it is, it could be Banded, it could be Scarf. But so Jirachi T-Tar, kings of the tier. Breloom comes in. It could be mixed, of course. Scarf would have roughly the same attack as a mixed set. So Loom's in. I wonder if Void is using a team that CL has spammed for the last year or so. It's Machamp, Heatran, Breloom, Starmie, Scarf, and Fernape, and something I forget. Oh, T-Tar, DD. I mean, fine offensive team. So Loom threatens with his own superpower here, of course. So he's going to superpower again. That is banded to do that much at -1. And there goes that. Rip him. So, going to be a bloodbath here, folks. Rocks are up. And another Pokemon has been weakened for Void. So, anyone's game here, obviously. Jimmy's own Loom comes in. Assuming that is because he saw how much speed his Tyranitar had, and his Breloom has the same or more, and thus he knows he will outspeed Void's. Or he can just Mach Punch against the minus defense Loom and pick it off. That works too. He could be one of the few Focus Punch sets running around. Focus Punch over Superpower is viable if you really want to lay the smackdown on Skarm, and you have safe ways of handling Clefable in case Breloom can't do the 1v1 for you. So Heatran's in again. Jimmy has lost his fire response, and Heatran's at full health. So Jimmy's forced to use his own Heatran, which kinda ghetto. If it is just the classic Shuka-Tran, then Void... Well, on one hand, he might not want to stay in and eat an Earth Power, even with Shuka, because then, hello Breloom range. So I think he might want to just get out of there, and... I wonder if he's using Jirachi's team. That he used versus McMegan. Last year in World Cup, Jirachi used a team against McMegan, which was Scarf Rachi, Lead, Bantar, Breloom, and Heatran, last two being Specs Kingdra, I believe, or Rain Dance, and Gengar, so it's a possibility. A really solid team, so I'm glad to see such solid teams being used for the most part. So, I mean, obviously this is just me speculating, but, because it could be other things, of course, but it's just something switched on in my head, and I was like, I have a feeling it might be that. Yeah, Shake used that team in Classic playoffs last year. Quite a lot of people have used Jirachi's World Cup teams from last year. They were pretty beastly. Anyway, now that I'm done with that, disgusting Canadian. Meaning, no offense to, I love your death metal band, Canada. Gorguts, they're phenomenal. Anyway. So, the Heatran on that Jirachi team is Pasho Berries, so that's... I think he's just pivoting into Gengar, maybe. No, he just straight up Earth Powers. Void not taking any chances, because I believe his Tran is Pasho as well. Starmie, if this serve is definitely the CL team. Nice. Yeah, because CL likes to run stuff over Hydro. Hydro are the worst. Absolute worst. But at the same time, the power is so big. But, here comes Jirachi. It is leftovers, though. So, and, note that me saying that, the Transpasho so it has to be the same, that's not what I'm saying. It's just, it's likely Transpasho because that is its best bet against getting up rocks against the number one most common spinner and, one of its most common enemies. So, he sees lefties on the Jirachi, decides to play no Beast Play pair. He saw Iron Head, so lefties plus Iron Head means risk of electrocute is significantly lower. Sometimes the Parasite Thunder over the body strength, they really want to smack Skarm, but generally, especially on an offensive team like this, I would be extraordinarily surprised to see that. So, Jimmy's in a precarious position here, as I'm sure he has something to outspeed Starmie afterwards, but Jirachi is going to go down. But Jirachi was not exactly keeping anything big in check that he couldn't already. So, tearing its health down, fair. He can't switch into Heatran anymore. And, might be a Scarf Tran from Jimbo, actually. So, I mean, that is, now that I think about it, that is, why he must have been so fearless. I mean, to switch Tran, even if the standard rocking Tran is rocks, fire move, HP grass explosion with Passion, it is still ballsy to send a non-Shuka, non-Scarf Tran, both of which would run from Starmie in that position. It would be really ballsy. So yeah, this is the CL team. There's the Shuka DD Tar. Gonna eat a Spit F drop. That's nasty. So Earth Power is gonna go from doing 19 to about 19 million. Anyway, so yeah, I think that that is the likeliest option. I'm feeling like we might see a Flygon on Jimmy's team, a mixed set. Flygon, a Gengar. He's still got to get rocks down, so Pert is not out of the question either. And so, because I don't think he was running. Actually, no, it could have been Jirachi. Rocks, but yeah, actually, that makes the most sense. Yeah, Rocks, Body, great set. Of course, we could also use the old standard of Starmie plus Zapdos, which I think is fine too. In which case he's really going to want to wear down that Tyranitar, but I feel like if he had Starmie, then I don't know. It's still actually, if he does have Starmie, then it was a very nice move of him to switch Tran into Fire Blast and chase it out rather than switch Starmie right into it. So yeah, I could see Rocks, Para, Starmie, and Rocks, Para, Jirachi, and Scarf Tran, and then Starmie, Zapdos, or something else like Gara. Although I think, nah, he's got electric coverage. If he's smart, of course, if he puts the pressure on and doesn't play like a passive little girl. So Breloom gonna be coming in, sorry. And on the EQ, threatening, he's with Bulk, he's not going to die to Ice Punch, I think. Although I would expect it's a high roll to kill with Sand from here. And he can just switch to Starmie, get Tuco by Mach Punch, with the last being Void's Scarf Infernape, I believe, which is a threat to clean always, but I'm not so sure about here, and I expect he'd go to Heatran here. No, he's going to Ape. I don't know, I just think you want to keep that as unrevealed for as long as possible. So actually, maybe because the Heatran doesn't have a way to hit Jimmy's Heatran and wants to avoid that at the same time. So I think you got a U-turn here, because Jimmy is not exactly scrambling for options here to where he would risk Breloom staying in. Like, what does he care? Like, his other post-kill Ape, what does he care? And he doesn't need a free switch. Like, I think he can sack Heat. Well, no, he doesn't want to sack Heatran very safely, but oh, I guess I'm wrong. He switches it on the fire move, and he would have forced a close combat, after which Starmie would have come in and picked up a KO. So, assuming it's Starmie's Zapdos, just because, you know, save standard. I would have preferred to see something cool, Flygon, Gengar. That would have, you know, been my preference. But maybe a Kendra. But hey, that's me. Anyway, at this point, everything dies to Earth Power too, so I don't know, I feel like Void didn't really... This was a fairly by-the-numbers game, and Void didn't... It's just kind of auto-clicking, it feels like. And with a fragile offensive team like this, then you can't just, you know... I mean, you can button-click and win sometimes, but more often than not, it's not going to work. So... Scarface going to come in here, click CC, and now Zapdos or Starmie comes in, and yeah, pretty much over, I would think. If it's Dragonite, alright, I did not consider him, so last is definitely Starmie. So yeah, that's cool. It's EQ, no Life Orb, Band, or DD Lum. So, nicely done on Jimbo's end. So this final is going to get reset. How exciting. So I guess I'll see you guys in part 4. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.